Hello everyone, my name is Kwan. Today I will talk about Cadence SKILL Language. I will go over some example from my book CAD Scripting Language. These three examples are pure skill scripting language. It will not contain any database. If you want to learn skill, the proper and formal way is to taking the training class with Cadence. My advice to you is to get to know the basic skill first before taking the class. For a quick review of Skill Language, Skill Language is from Cadence. Skill is a powerful extension language for CAD tool in designing chips. Skill contains a large library of function plus a database. Skill is very old language from the 50 or 60 based on LISP. Most of Skill script NVIC.il stand for interface language. Now we call that scripting language. And Skill is not an open source language. If you start learning Skill, are there any material or books out there that help you learning Skill? The first two books you should have is from Cadence. The first book's Skill User Guide from Cadence, very good books. And the other one is Skill Command Language Reference, also from Cadence. You should definitely get these two books to start with. And beside that, unfortunately, there are not a lot of material out there. The reason because Skill is not an open source language. Of course, my books, CAD Scripting Language, that's the only book out there, I believe. I'm lucky enough to have permission from Cadence to publish the book about skill scripting. My book, CAD Scripting Language, is not for sale anywhere. For more information, you can search the web. You can type in like CAD Scripting Language. And here's the cover of my books. You can click it in. You can also type in quick tour skill language. I have a very introductory of skill language. Here are some of the index of the skill language. I have two chapters in here inside the CAD scripting language books. Well, I like to thank Cadence to allow me to publish these two chapters regarding skill. In this video, we will talk about some example in this book called arrow, column, and transpose. In this book, every example uh, I've written about several languages like Perl, Ruby, Python, Tickle, If you're in chip design business, this is a language probably you have to know. TCL, Optical. Awk is my first language in Unix. This is a Unix shell bash. And this is a skill that we will talk about in this video. So basically, given some data like this, we just want to add the number together. You can see that the skill you can use as a scripting language. If you're new to skill, I suggest you go on the web and download this one. Just type in quick tour of skill programming and you will see a PDF file you can download. And this PDF here is from my books, so I upload into Cadence server. In this PDF basically is very introductory about skill, and you can run skill interactively. If you know one of these languages, then you can learn skill by repeating the command. Here's this for loop, and there are various ways to write up in skill. In here for Perl, Ruby, and Python, and Tickle. For each. This for list. Basically an array. So you go download the quick tour of skill programming from the web. In the first script, we have a list within a list. So it's basically a two-dimensional list. And we want to add all the number in the list together. And the results like this. So the first thing we do is we do for each. We loop each list here. Then we give the name line for each inside list. Here we add together all the number. And finally we print it out. And this is the result. It's simple. If you pay attention that here we call the skills script. And .c is the command. And we put everything command inside this code here. In the next example, we have a list. This is one-dimensional list. And the list, the content of the list is a string. We have 3 strings here. And we want to add the number in this string together and form like this. The first thing we do is this is one way to do it. We loop the list from 0 to whatever the length of the list minus 1. And the next thing we do is we pass the string, because this is a string contain number. So we want to pass it. We want to pass. We can empty character here. The NTHJR is the item per item. When J goes 0, we get the first item. J goes 1, we get second item. Once we get the field, we get an array list here. Then we add together. Now we have to use eval string, because after we split, even this look like number, but it's still as a string. So we have to use the function eval string. Then finally we bring it out and the result. We just do a little modification on this script. We add the name in front of the data here. So again, we loop, then we pack the string, then here we add the field together. Remember, we start from 1 because 0 here is the name. We don't want that. We just want to add the number here. And finally, we bring out. If you notice that I put 2 space in here. Here you have 1 space, here 2 space, and I want to introduce a build string. So basically, field is a list, and you build a string from a list. And here we would put double space. That's why you see double space in here. Well, on this script, we put the data into a file called student text, like this. And we use the file handle in file and read the file in. So here we read the file, and here we read every line, and we pass the field. Remember that we have that /n for new line, and from here we add the number together, and we start from 1. Remember that on the student here we don't add, we add from field 1. Then we bring it out. So in this script, we read a file, we put the data in the student.txt file, then we read it in when we add the column. On the next script, we're going to add column. So basically, we given the data like this, we're going to add column together. On the previous example, we got add row. So to add column together, you have to, it's not a line-to-line operation anymore. You have to go through every list and add the column together. The first thing we do is we create a table, basically an array. Then we initialize the total for each column equals 0. So we initialize the sum of each column to 0. Here we just arbitrarily put 10. You can put any number. Now we start looping the list. First thing again, we pass this string into a list, and we pass by an empty space. Yeah. Once we get the field or the token, we add together. Remember that total now is an array, so we have to keep add on the line together before we know the final total. And here we just bring out every line like this. So we don't bring out the result yet. We have to add on the line first. Once we add on the line, then we create this equal sign here. Then we bring it out the total. Then we bring it out the average. We will modify the script to make the output, this output, into a file. So we're going to create a file called student out, and we give it file handle. We do similar thing, except that we use bring f to dump to a file. Once you run this, you're going to see, you look at the output student.out, that's what you see. Use bring f. On the next script, basically we have the input data contained in student.txt and the output also in a file. So we have file in and file out. We add the column. So here we have file in and we have file out. We create array. We create file handle right. Here we on the total we initialize to 0. This statement say that check whether student the text exit or not. If not exit, then we exit the program. We read the file, read the line, we pass the string into a list, and we add the total for each column. And we use F to write into the student out file. After we add the column together, then we bring the total. We bring this line. Then we bring the average down here. So in this script we have a file student.text. The output is student out. In our last example, transpose, we have a file like this, and we want to transpose into the output like this. So basically, we rotate the data. In this example, we create a two-dimensional array. So the first thing, we create an array, and we check whether the student file exists or not. If not, we exit out the program, and we set row to 0. And we start reading the input file, and we read each line in the input file, and we pass the string, and here we assign the two-dimensional array, row and column. So each item in here has a row and column assigned to it, and the array called array. So once we put on this item into a two-dimensional array, we just reverse it when we read it out. So here we loop the column first. Okay, we loop the column first. So that's the output. And here we use a array, two-dimensional array, to do the transpose. Instead of using the two-dimensional array, we can use two-dimensional list to perform the transpose. So we just in this one we just add this statement in. Basically, for every line we read, we create a new list, and here we create a list, append list, new list. So once we got the new list per line, then we check if we don't have the list A yet, then this is a new list. If the list A exists, then we create a two-dimensional array. So to read out, same thing for the two-dimensional array. We just reverse, we bring the column out first, and that's the output. So in this script we do two ways. One is to a two-dimensional array. We assign array, row and column per item in the input data. Each item has a row and column. Similarly, we do the two-dimensional list. So we get new list for every line, and here we create a new list. Here we try to create two-dimensional list. The first time, if list A is not defined anywhere, then we create a new list. If list A exists, then we create a two-dimensional, and we bring it out. And this is the output. This is the input, and this is how the output look like. Instead of using bound P here, you can use similar list A new or not. Right? In that case, then we have to specify list A up here. Thank you for watching the video. See you in next video.